This decision doesn't feel urgent until suddenly it is. One small change, like driving getting harder or meds getting mixed up, can quickly turn into an emergency move. I'm going to show you the exact signals to watch for so you can stay in control. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, we're probably fine for now? And then almost in the same breath thinking, but what if something happens? Maybe you're the one in the situation, or maybe you're the adult child watching from the sidelines, trying to be respectful while also feeling that pressure quietly building. I'm Melina Rizon. I've been a realtor in San Diego for over 20 years and I'm a certified senior advisor. I've walked so many seniors and their families through this exact question. And I made this video to help you stop guessing and start seeing the situation clearly. Most people try to decide if they're ready to move to senior housing purely based on age, emotions, or outside opinions. They ask, am I old enough? Or is it too soon? Or what will my friends think? And then those questions may keep you up at night, but none of them actually tell you whether your current setup is still working. The truth is, readiness has very little to do with how old you are and everything to do with whether your daily life is still safe, supported, and enjoyable in the way you want it to be. And remember, there's no downside to learning your options. Families rarely regret planning early. What they regret is waiting until a single event forces the decision overnight. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what signs to look for so the decision feels clear instead of confusing. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll give you a simple way to evaluate where you are right now so you know whether you should stay in place with support, start exploring communities, or begin planning a move. Before we get into the science, there's one thing we need to clarify because the words senior housing get used to describe completely different situations. Sometimes people mean independent living, which is more about convenience and community. You're still independent, but you're done with the constant upkeep. You want more connection, and you like the idea of meals and activities being available at any time for you. But senior housing can also mean assisted living, which includes help with day-to-day needs like bathing, dressing, mobility, or managing medications. And for some families, the conversation includes memory care, where the environment and support are specifically designed for cognitive changes. Now, here's the framework I use because it cuts through the noise. I think about 3 areas: safety, support, and satisfaction. Safety is about risk. Are you truly safe day to day? Support is about the system. Is the help you're getting from friends and family enough? And can you realistically continue? Satisfaction is about quality of life. Is your world still full or is it quietly shrinking? Now I want to give you a set of signals you can listen for. As you hear each one, just take note of whether it feels true in your situation. The goal isn't to pass judgment. It's to view your situation clearly without letting emotions get in the way. The first signal is the one people often downplay, but it's the one that can change everything quickly. Balance and stability issues. That might be a fall, a slip, or even those close calls that don't end up as a headline moment. Grabbing the counter, steadying yourself on furniture, avoiding the stairs when you can, feeling uneasy in the shower. Here's why that matters. When safety starts to feel shaky, families go from, well, I think it through, to we need an answer today. And decisions made under pressure are almost always the ones people regret most. The second signal shows up in the home itself. The house starts to feel harder to handle than it used to. Maintenance gets postponed. Cleaning feels exhausting. Projects pile up. You might see clutter growing, mail stacking, food spoiling, repairs ignored, or the home simply feels like it takes too much effort to manage. This is an issue of not just your physical capacity, but your mental bandwidth as well. At a certain point, a home can stop being a support system and start becoming a burden. The third signal is when everyday tasks take more effort and more workarounds. than they used to. I'm talking about parts of your daily routine like bathing, dressing, preparing meals, getting up from chairs, or staying consistent with your medications. Sometimes people are able to keep up and adapt for a while. And from the outside, everything looks okay. But if these tasks are getting harder, that's a real sign that should not be ignored, even if they're manageable for now. The fourth signal is a pattern of health disruptions, more urgent care visits, more ER trips, more pains or illnesses that feel like they came out of nowhere, or medication mistakes that cause problems. If health events are becoming more frequent, it can be a sign that the current setup does not have enough support. And each event increases the chance that the next decision has to be made under pressure. The fifth signal is especially common here in San Diego because our lives are spread out and driving often equals independence. When driving starts to feel stressful, life begins to narrow. Maybe it's avoiding freeways, night driving, long distances, or certain routes. Or maybe it's driving less and less. The result is often the same. Appointments feel harder, errands become more complicated, social plans fade away, and isolation starts to creep in. And this is where families sometimes start helping more, which sounds good until that help becomes the entire plan. Before I keep going, this is already making things clearer for you. I'd love for you to subscribe. I put out videos just like this to help seniors and their families in San Diego navigate big housing decisions with calm and practical guidance. Now, the next signal is the one people overlook because it doesn't look like an emergency. It's subtle, but it might be the most important one. Your life is starting to feel more limited. That can look like fewer outings, fewer people visiting, eating alone more often, less motivation, days feeling repetitive, going longer stretches without real connection. This is where it's important to take a realistic look at how satisfied you are with your day-to-day living. Sometimes the move isn't about needing help at all. It can be purely about restoring a fuller life. So ask yourself this: if I stay, will my quality of life stay strong or slowly fade? For many people, the benefit of a good senior community isn't just the services, it's the structure of connection. It's a built-in social rhythm, shared meals, planned activities, casual conversations, community. Now we're at the seventh and final signal, and it's the one families often miss because they don't want to admit that it's happening. The support system is straining. If your current plan depends on an adult child doing the driving, the errands, the meals, the check-ins, the medication reminders, and that person is stretched thin, then the plan is fragile, even if everyone is doing their best. This is the hit trigger that turns "we're okay" into "we need to do something immediately." One illness, one busy season at work, one caregiver burnout moment, and suddenly the whole system collapses. A common question people ask is, what would it actually cost and how would we pay for a support system? In my experience, uncertainty around finances is one of the biggest reasons families stay stuck. Not because there aren't any options, but because they're trying to make the decisions without real numbers. That's why I offer a free home value report. It's not about pressure, it's about getting a solid picture of what the home could realistically sell for, what equity is, and how much is there, what choices would it open up. Clarity changes everything. So those are the signals. Now let's turn them into decisions. If none of these signals feel like they fit your situation, you probably don't need to move right away. But it may still be the right time to strengthen your support system so that you stay confident and stable wherever you are. If one or two of the signals match what you're seeing each day, there may not be any big rush, but it might be time to start exploring your options, learning the difference between options, booking some tours, seeing what feels right. And if many of these are true, especially the safety, health, or support strain pieces, then it's time for a serious conversation about change because the current setup may be working only by luck and effort, not by design. Start planning now before you're forced to. And when you have all the information you need, find a team of trusted experts to help you begin your next chapter. Here's one of the most helpful reframes I can offer. Moving earlier doesn't mean moving prematurely. It means moving while you still have control. Now, if you're the adult child watching and wondering how to bring this up without it turning into conflict, here's the cleanest approach I've seen. Start with care and shared goals. You could say something like, I want you safe and I want you to enjoy your life. Then you talk about what you're observing rather than making assumptions about how your parent might be feeling. You focus on specific changes: stability, driving, the home, appointments, isolation. Then you make the first step purely about gathering information. You suggest touring a couple places simply to understand what's available. And whenever possible, keep them in control. Make it clear that your goal is to support them, not to push them away. When the conversation is grounded in empathy and reliable information, it melts away most of the worry and stress, and making the right decision becomes so much easier. So let's wrap this up. If you have been stuck wondering whether you're ready, remember this. You don't need to decide whether you're ready to move based on some gut feeling. If you take a step back, you should be able to see the signals clearly in safety, support, and your overall quality of life. When those areas are strong, staying put can be a great plan. But if they're weakening, planning becomes the smartest move you can start to make. If this video helped you, please subscribe. I share weekly videos for seniors and families in San Diego navigating housing decisions just like this. And if you want the fastest path from uncertainty to a real plan, reach out for a neighborhood consultation or request your free home value report. Once you have real numbers and real options, the next step becomes much more clear. Thank you so much for staying until the end and spending this time with me. Once again, my name is Melina Rizon, real estate broker with Coldwell Banker, and I'll see you in the next video.